It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a movie.
It's Movie Time is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to broadcast shows on Fridays at 4:01 and 8:01 p.m. Read reviews and listen to shows online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
I'm Beth Miller.
and this is It's Movie Time. Beth, we have a movie that actually is Netflix. Now, we don't always have a Netflix, but this one is called J. Kelly. My question for you is George Clooney a good choice for J. Kelly?
I thought George Clooney was an excellent choice for J. Kelly
Why?
because of his lifetime of interaction with movies, starting at a very young age, all the way up through, still acting for, 50 years. So.
And why don't we do that a little later on in the show? I'll try to give some of his filmography. And he is acting along with Adam Sandler, and I'll be anxious to hear what you think about Adam Sandler in this role. Now, this is, we're obsessed with Hollywood, as we always are. I mean, and the two of us are certainly very interested, and our Uncle Wayne is very interested in movies. Your husband, Tim, not so much. Right?
No,
But,
not so much.
right. But anyway, so this one is almost boilerplate about a man who turned 60, who is what would you say, Clark Gable-ish?
Yes, very Clark Gable-ish.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody. Is there anybody else around 60 who would be a better choice for this than George Clooney? Boy.
Not at that age, no. I mean, I can think of some older actors, maybe like Harrison Ford, something of that
It's
sort.
a good choice.
But as far as
Yeah, he's a little old for
he's
that.
a little older for that, and he probably doesn't have the. He's an attractive man, but not like the typical George Clooney,
Yeah.
Clark Gable type of leading man.
Yeah. What is it about him, Beth? What is it about Clooney that's so attractive for a filmmaker?
Well, obviously the physical attraction. I mean,
Yeah.
I think with the way he has a charisma about him when he interacts, he also seems down to earth. On the characters that he plays, that have a connection. Just his overall presence.
Yeah,
Just like the it factor that's hard to, actually define.
Of course it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, the guy's got a perfectly shaped head.
Yes, he does. Great jawline,
Yeah,
great hair.
great, exactly. And he's from Cincinnati, I think. His dad was a big broadcaster in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So he has some regional attraction for us. But basically, he's just a really handsome guy who's got the smoothest delivery
Yes.
in the world, and a pretty nice wife.
Yes.
So he's
accomplished, very
he's got-
accomplished.
And his filmography, I know I want to talk a little bit about what he does, but that's an extensive filmography.
Extensive.
And the thing about Clooney is that he's not just an actor. He's a producer and a director. The one scene that your point about him being approachable, the one scene is the one on the train for me. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I very much remember the one on the train with all the fans.
I know. And somebody brought up the point that there were no cell phones on that train.
I don't think I've noticed that or not. I know a lot of
I
people
didn't
interacting.
either.
I would have expected everybody to pull out their cell phone
Yes.
and start video recording him. And I think when he actually leaves the train, I'm not sure if they videotape him at that point because they do have video later on.
Yeah. Someone was telling me that actually on some European trains, and maybe they're not allowed.
Okay, I didn't know that. I know in Japan, I think it's a rule that you're not allowed to have
Is it?
your cell phone out. You're not allowed to be talking on the public
good.
transportation.
That may be what they were thinking, but it may be so with European. Secondly, I thought artistically, you don't want to have them with them. You don't want them to pull those out. So I would do it even anti-realism and just
Right.
not have them just so that they wouldn't disturb the shot.
Right.
Because he's introducing himself to the whole train. That was a cute little, just a little scene. Any others that strike you that show us something about being a star at 60?
I think the scene that I remember a lot was when he encountered Timothy after the funeral and he asked to go to drinks. And
Yes.
I think that goes back to when you have a Hollywood star and they're older and they're used to the fame and everyone around them. Maybe they want to reconnect to people that were in their life before they were famous, to try to connect with that time of their life when they were like basically more of a normal person.
Yeah, I forgot. Who's playing that?
With Billy Crudup.
Yeah, that's right. Boy, he didn't look anything like Billy Crudup.
No, I'm used to having his dark black
I
hair,
know.
and I was shocked when I had to look it up. I was like, who is this guy? He looks so familiar, and then I
me
realized
too.
who it was.
I had that same reaction. The fisticuffs that evolved from their coming together were a little bit shocking, I thought. You know, they actually got into a fight.
Right, I thought that was very odd, but I think he was at the point where George Clooney character wants to reconnect with who he was before he got famous and wants to have those interactions with people that may have truly valued him as a person and not just look at the stardom. And I think it was a shocking moment for him when he realizes this person is not who he thought he was, and he has these negative feelings for him and basically just says, I can't stand you. Nobody can stand you. Other people feel the same way. And I just think it was a shock to Jay Kelly at that point. He probably just had like a snapping moment, and that's why it came out into a physical altercation.
You know, Beth, beside the almost cliches about Hollywood stars, and it's probably because they are true, right? You get all of this fame and all of this fortune, and they're going to question the time they spent doing that.
Right.
And there's always comes down to family. And I was thinking in the same thing in the Marvel universe. They're always looking for their kids. They look to connect with family. How about here? Does the same thing happen here?
Yeah, I think that the entire movie is about the choices that you make, whether it's professional life or family, and you always seem to want to connect back to family, because when everything else is gone and everything else fails, you still have family who are part of your life, usually before the fame hit. And so you have more of a realistic relationship with them, something that's not built on fame. And I think the movie can resonate with, you know, obviously it's a cliche for actors who get famous, questioning those who are around them, you know, whether they have true intentions and whether they're just after them for fame and what they can get. But I think that, you know, the regret you may have and look back how much time you've spent in your career versus, you know, putting it on family. You know, it makes you question your own choices.
Oh, you know, me too. What do you think? There's no price to be paid?
I think there's always a price to be paid.
And to pursue, which he does, pursue his career at the loss of being with his two kids. That to me seems incalculable. It seems like such a sadness that the one important thing in your life, which is, at least for, you know, for us, is family, is that not to have that, you can't buy that, you can't get that back.
And he has that struggle at the very end where he tries to all of a sudden connect with both daughters. You know, going and visiting a daughter at school all of a sudden and showing up at his daughter's trip. I mean, you can't just create that relationship at the end of time at the last second. But I think they also show in the movie that if you really want to make the time and the effort, you can preserve it and have both things. Like with the other actor, Ben Alcott, who also gets the secondary tribute. And Adam Sandler's character talks about how he would go back every week and fly back to see his family. And when he shows up at the tribute, he has like his uncles, his cousins, you know, his wife, his kids. He has like this entourage of 20 people with him. And then we have George Clooney's character.
Played by Patrick Wilson, right?
Right, Patrick Wilson, who's an amazing actor as well. So star-studded cast in this film.
Yes.
So
I thought Wilson was a good choice somehow.
I thought it was a very good choice.
Yeah.
A very good choice.
I mean, we all know him from those horror movies.
Yes, from the Conjuring series.
The Conjuring series, right.
Yes.
And so he's a familiar face. But he's got such a benign face. He's got a really nice face
Right.
that goes for what you were talking about, that is attached with family. And it's a good contrast
Right.
between his entourage, which is family, and then Clooney. I love that line that occurs more than once. You know, when he's alone, he talks about being alone, and daughter says, "You're never alone." And then Silvano, whoever
Comes
it
up,
is,
you can't do the drink. And he's like, here you go, and it just proves his point. Like, you can't even sit down, and somebody's bringing you a drink the moment you sit down. Like, you're never alone.
I know.
Constant people.
I know. So is there anything, Beth, in this film that didn't ring true to you?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything in the film that didn't ring true to me. I mean, it's the overall you know, the fame and the disconnect that probably these Hollywood actors have with reality, trying to, like at the scene on the train, you know.
I like that too. I think that's a really good one.
I think it has going the difference between, I'm trying to think how to explain it, what reality is. Like when he's in an acting class and they have the flashback and they talk about the hardest acting job you will have, like, is being your character and also being yourself.
Yes, right.
And I think with the Hollywood stars, they are on all the time,
Yes.
even with public, that they lose who they truly are as a person. So when they're on the train, I feel like he's feeling, I can't connect with my daughters, but I can get this reassurance from the fans. And so he reaches out and wants to make this scene, you know, and connect with all these fans and invite them to the tribute to still have that sort of support and connection, because he doesn't have it with family. And then, but the only thing that I thought kind of out of touch or unrealistic was when he ran off the train to capture the purse robber. And I think because he was feeling so bad about himself that he needed to do an action to prove that I am a good human being, even though my daughter may say I'm an empty vessel, I'm never alone, and I have no connections. He still needs to prove it to himself, and that's why he goes out of his way and chases this thief, you know, this thief off the train and tackles them. And
I know.
So
I know. There are a couple of good shots. I like the long shots. I like him chasing him, and I also like in the end when he meets his buddy, Billy Crudup. When they, well, actually, I'm looking at Adam Sandler. That's our transition.
right,
And when he and Sandler are way apart from each other, it's a long shot.
yes,
And symbolically, because this is the director here is Noah Baumbach,
right.
and that's, you know, Greta Gerwig's husband. Yeah, Wayne's in our audience. So anyway, Beth, the film is Jay Kelly, and it's on Netflix, and it's about an aging Hollywood star. It's an easy call, and I wanted us to do it because the first time you and I have been together, and I see that was a good choice on my part.
Thank you for saying that. See the audience.
So Beth Miller, it's called Jay Kelly. What do you recommend to our audience? Now, this is a film that they all can see because it's Netflix, so what do you recommend?
I would recommend the film. I see why people are very drawn to the film, or think it's a very good film. I think it's very well done. I think it may not be everyone's cup of tea, because I think it can be seen two ways. One is about trying to understand what the Hollywood actors go through with the fame and questioning those around him, and the loss of family in order to maintain that fame. But also some could see it as like a narcissistic indulgence of, like, look at the poor actors, everything they've had to give up,
Right.
when they realize,
feeling so sorry
for
for you.
myself, look at all that I gave up, and look what a huge star I am. But also everyday people deal with that as well in their professional careers. They have to make choices and give up time with their family as well. So I think it can be seen as both sides, but I think it is an enjoyable film, and I would recommend seeing it.
It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends on